All right, Matt Kelly, Matty Riser back with you for SummerSlam night numero 2. Oh, buddy, we went about 30, 40 minutes, or as they would call it, an opening tag team match here at SummerSlam. It was about the length of our first episode. I imagine that episode number 2 is probably going to go about equally as long here, Matty, because in no way did I think that we would get a surprise that met or leveled up or was at the same, kind of level that we saw on Saturday, but we did in fact get it on Sunday. And man, uh night 2. Night 2 is interesting, my friend. Night 2 is interesting.
Yeah, well, in all, every match had a championship implication, so there was a lot
Every
more
match.
kind of at stake. And I think, like you said, we had Friday night, we had John Cena turn face, which we didn't know if we were getting played or what was going on. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of intrigue going into SummerSlam night too.
Yeah, I want to touch much more on that when we get to the main event scene of John Cena and Cody Rhodes, because I think WWE did something incredible on Friday night that ended up creating way more intrigue here for the main event on Sunday. But let's start at the bottom of the card and work our way up. We're not necessarily going in order of the show. We're just going in the same order that we had the doc in last week for a
Boom.
bit of transparency there, and it's just making life easy on us on this side of the show. So we are starting with TLC, a match that we haven't seen in a hot minute, that had the Wyatt Six come in as champs: Andrade and Ray Phoenix, the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, DIY. DIY. I was so close to getting through all 6 teams clean and clear. But DIY in a TLC match for the tag team championships. The Wyatt Six, as you see it there on the screen, if you're tuning in with us, Facebook, YouTube, and X, every single Tuesday night at 10. We're obviously going late tonight because this is showgram number 2, if you will. This one, oh, baby, 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 chaotic. You had not quite caught. I was watching it a little bit ahead of you on Sunday, and I was like, hey, man, no spoilers, because I didn't know how far you were, how close you were to getting caught up. But I was like, TLC is absolutely bananas. Like, it was just insane from start to finish. We saw that in the TLC match that we reviewed on the SummerSlam Rewind. And I was like, well, there's no way it's going to hold up in terms of pace. It held up in terms of pace.
Well, dude, and like you said, to start it off, we watched a match, 25 years ago that was kind of the beginning of TLC, and it's cool. We watched that, then we watched SummerSlam, and the Dudleys and the Hardys are being introduced in the crowd.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that almost makes the bar that much higher for these teams to kind of show up and show out. And like you said, they delivered. It was a car crash, crazy spots, near falls. It was a lot, and it was intense, and it was everything you need in a TLC match. I think this one over delivered.
It's kind of hard to figure out a place to go with something that's kind of never been done. So we talked about the original TLC just having 3 teams. On this one, you had double the amount of teams. You had double the amount of participants. So there's a lot more action. There's a lot more things you got to figure out. And it's like, okay, can you showcase that many people in one match? 6 people, easy peasy. You got plenty of time to find spots for them. 12, you're taking a little bit of a tall task, but I think they did a pretty good job of showcasing. And I want to start here with for just a minute with Andrade and Ray Phoenix, who was my pick to win. They didn't win, but I thought they had a crazy, crazy creative spot almost at the beginning of the match where I think it was Ray Phoenix jumps up on top of Andrade and almost gets the belts without a ladder.
It's just crazy. Like things we've never seen done before, really, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought the innovation here was off the charts. There was so many, and that was me. It was just like I said, it was a lot of stuff here that these guys were all trying to leave their mark. But yeah, like all these guys, man. And like you said, Andrade, Ray Phoenix, like this is, I don't know much about these guys, but it seems like it was kind of thrown together. And I think it just fits.
I think it fits. I think they should carry on as a tag team for a hot minute because we've been waiting for something for Andrade, Ray Phoenix. obviously came in with a lot of hype, but not
Right.
quite finding the same footing as a Penta, if you will, obviously. But I think this team of Andrade and Ray Phoenix, they fit. I think they add to the tag team division, and I think they should hang in there for a little bit. And I hope it doesn't disassemble or just dissipate here after SummerSlam. Let's go just to the next team, the Street Profits. Man, the Street Profits are so good. The Street Profits are just so good. Dawkins has some real underrated athleticism. Montez Ford is just an absolute freak athlete. And Montez Ford is up there in terms of facial expressions when something gets him. And Montez Ford, I think, is just really fun to watch. Is someone that down the line could end up being a Jey Uso-esque, breaking away from the tag team scene and becoming a main event player. He's just got that energy, the charisma. He's got the moves. He's got really close to everything you want. He is just so tied into the Street Profits right now that it's hard to get away from that.
Yeah, and that's with a lot of these guys. They've all got the it factor for the most part. It's just finding a role with them. And I think this was a great spot to put everybody on the card. And what was the match? Was it WrestleMania? Maybe it was the Motor City Machine Guns. They had a tag match, a ladder
Royal Rumble,
match.
the Rumble, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I don't know if it was a pre-show or on the SmackDown or what, but they stole the show and then they kind of were left off the card. So it was nice to see, even the way the Wyatts were used. I know we're going team by team, but just you get Candice LeRae involved. You get so many people that just, they hit their spot, and it was really cool.
Are you in on Motor City?
It's weird, right? Like, I've seen them, and we saw them in TNA forever. They were a staple. I just don't know. They're a good tag team. I think they put on good matches. I just don't know if they're on the same level as my opinion is like DIY or the Street Profits, personally.
I think they're kind of, it's weird. So they came in with all the fanfare. To your point,
Right.
they're well known. They get thrust, towards the top of the card immediately upon arriving in WWE. Kind of Jade Cargill for me, in that I don't have a real attachment to Motor City Machine Guns. I don't think I found a reason to connect to them. To your point, they put on good matches. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But I sometimes think that maybe fine is one of the worst things that you can be in WWE. Is just fine.
Yeah, you got to stick out. You got to stand out. And to your point, I don't know, especially in the tag division, man. Like, they're a good team, but you're not on the New Day level. You're not on these other guys' level. So it's just kind of, yeah, it's a meh. I'm a meh guy when it comes to those.
All right, we're on the same page there. Fraxium, though, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Holy cow, dude! I think this is where people took notice of Fraxium. Like, truly, truly took notice of Fraxium, and as a tag team and what they're capable of together. All of the high flying spots, it works. They were kind of thrust together there in NXT, almost Andrade and Ray Phoenix esque, and then this tag team was born. And it's just so good. It works so well. They have the high flying spots. They've got the speed that you kind of want in the tag team division. They riff off of each other so well that it's going to be really, really hard to break those guys up at any point. But I think they can really start to carve out a role and end up maybe even being the backbone of this tag team division.
Yeah, and they're new to the division as a whole. So we're going to see a lot more growth from Fraxium. So that's what makes it fun is you're going to see innovative moves. You're going to see, things you haven't seen with some of these other tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially if they get moved over to Raw, could you imagine those guys working with like Finn Balor and JD McDonough? Like, we're going to see some classics down the road. Yeah.
DIY. It's so difficult to pick what was the spot of the match for me because, to your point, chaos, car crash every 20 to 30 seconds in this thing. But DIY, and let's include Candice LeRae into this conversation. Spot of the match for me personally was, I think it was somebody from Motor City Machine Guns was going for a spear off the ladder, recreating that spot from one of the TLC matches.
Yeah.
And then somehow, some way, Tommaso Ciampa flips himself as he's dangling there from the from the titles, flips himself, inverts himself upside down to miss to miss the guy going for the spear.
Yeah.
Nothing prepared me for that. There's no way I would have thought of that spot. Absolutely incredible. I was blown away by that.
When you're like 25 feet in the air and you're just
Right.
trusting your core and your grip, and you've been sweating for
Crazy.
20 minutes, like, yeah, that might never be seen again. I don't know if I want to see it again
Yeah, I
because
don't
it
either.
scared the shit out of me. But yeah, just another step of like, how do you up the ante after this match?
Well, speaking of scaring the shit out of me, itty bitty Candice LeRae maybe takes the bump of the weekend on top of the ladder, gets shoved out of the ring through another ladder all the way to the outside, which creates a moment of worry, obviously, for everybody as far as Candice fell. But then you see Johnny check on her and he's like, we got to try to win these titles.
Looks like she was dead, man. Like,
I know. All right,
just
Wyatt's.
craziness.
Let's back up to the Wyatt Six, and then we'll get out of here on this particular match. So I want to tie in the Wyatt Six to the SummerSlam stage, which is something that we didn't really talk about on night number one. But the SummerSlam stage itself, I thought was a great concept. I like the tiers and the way that they were able to utilize each tier to show kind of something different, whether it was the names or the videos or the whatever it was. But I did think the concept and the stage looked better as the night went on. And unfortunately, there in Jersey, I don't think the sun set until like the AJ Dom match, which was the next to last match. Same thing on night number one. It didn't really set enough to be completely dark until that second match. So I think if you would have had this match on down the card a little bit and the Wyatt Six could have gotten their full entrance, I think it would have made it a little bit more spectacular on that SummerSlam stage. That's my only knock on the SummerSlam stage as a whole. Is it just in that outdoor arena like that? It just didn't work until it fully set into nighttime, and then it was a spectacle.
Yeah, and it's just weird with like how many 50,000 fans.
Yep.
It's daytime. It's open, so the sound kind of even on TV. Like there was times where you couldn't hear the crowd, and I think it was because it was open. So you do lose that like dome effect. And like you said, the Wyatt entrance, like that's a skeptical. So when you see something like that mess it up, you're just kind of like, it's almost a letdown.
Wyatt Six retaining, though, out of all of this, we could go on and on about spots in this match, but Wyatt Six retaining, do you find anything wrong with it? Like, I don't know what the Wyatt Six are exactly right now.
Well, and that's, I guess, the good part of them retaining here is if you're going to build the Wyatt Six. I mean, like you said, the Freebird rule, these other aspects of it.
Did they get booed though? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what they are. Like I felt like the crowd booed at the end. So like I think they're supposed to be face, but it came off heelish almost.
I don't know, man. This is one of those, like, I felt like we kind of lost our step. Like we had the most perfect beginning with the Uncle Howdy promos, with the attack backstage. Everything was kind of clicking, and then they just went away. And I don't know how the booking is supposed to be. I still don't believe that they are the right tag team to hold these championships. But I think if you're going to try to build a storyline, I mean, if anything, now or at least we're going to see what kind of character development WWE really can do with these guys. Because obviously them winning tells us that they're invested, right?
I think it has to. I do agree that I think they've lost their way a little bit, but maybe giving them the championships puts them on TV a little bit more weekly. Maybe we do start to rebuild some of that depth. Maybe we do get a little bit more of Howdy being manipulative and stuff like that. And maybe it does feed back in to kind of where we started off with them.
Well, all right. Real quick, it just,
to
me, it feels like a Bray Wyatt tribute group. That's all this is. Like, there's not enough of substance to this. I mean, there could be, but I just don't feel like Uncle Howdy's stood out enough where that's what we were expecting. And to me, we're just kind of getting all these role players.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't. I mean, yeah, words right out of my mouth. I'm in lockstep with you there about the Wyatt 6. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match for the United States Championship. This is one that I think kind of went the way that we thought it was going to for the most part. I was entertained by Solo. I was entertained by Jacob Fatu. MFTs, I I'm still not in on JC Mateo, man. I hate to say it because I like Jeff Cobb and his work outside of WWE, but something about this fit with MFTs still isn't quite clicking and hitting for me. It works for everybody else within the faction itself. I It was a little bit wonky about the end of the match, not the match itself, but like MFTs getting left in there with Jacob, and Jacob kind of I don't know. What did you think about this match? Because I honestly I don't know how to feel about it.
So this to me was maybe the biggest letdown of night 2, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I know these two guys. I know how violent this could have been. And this cage, it just kind of came off as a joke. Like you like, why even have a door on the cage at this point?
That's what it is. That you're 100% spot on there. There wasn't the violence that you would expect out of Sikoa and Fatu. That's 100% what was missing.
And it just, like you said, Jeff Cobb or Mateo, I just don't. It's tough because some weeks Solo sticks out so well, and I'm trying to do the slow burn with his MFT and the guys, but it's just tough. Like at a point, we're gonna get to where we are with Lyra and Becky, where we've just seen enough of this, and it's like you could have a 25-minute banger, and it's almost like watching a movie for the 100th time. So to me, this just didn't add anything to this rivalry. I mean, you do get that cool spot at the end, but like breaking the handcuffs, they don't even show them break them. It's just,
they missed that bad. Yeah, they missed that bad. I think they had to show it on replay if I remember it right. I mean, like Michael Cole said something like, "Oh, we have the footage of like how Jacob got free," and it's like, you gotta get that in the moment. By the time you're saying, "Oh, now we figured it out," it's kind of lost, any sort of meaning that would have had. It would have had a completely different impact if you would have been able to show it live and kind of what was happening there. So this match, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't want to just like gloss over it because I do think we both believe that Solo and Jacob are very much in the stardom category when it comes to WWE's roster, and they're going to be main event players for a long time to come. Right now, obviously, they're stuck in this mid-card situation, but they're so young into their WWE careers. They have such a long way to go. So for as much as it didn't do anything for me for either of them, it also doesn't concern me for either of them.
When we just saw, what was it? Was it Money in the Bank? This turn happened, I believe, something like that.
Yes, because Jacob ends up costing Solo in the match.
Right. So it is still fresh. I just think this match style just didn't deliver like it should have for these two Samoans that, like you said, the upside is immense. I just think maybe this wasn't the spot for it.
And I think maybe they could have switched or they could have flipped stipulations with this match in Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, and maybe we get a little bit more impact because the brutality that Solo and Jacob could have delivered with a no DQ, I think Becky and Lyra could have been just fine in a cage match because, Becky and Lyra, we'll jump to that. This is my biggest disappointment tonight too. I feel so bad for harping on this feud and how much it just hasn't done anything for me. Thank Christ this is the last match of this feud. There are a lot of tough spots in this match, Maddie. I could just cut and dry, man. There was a lot of tough spots. Some of them not their fault. Some of them were. Becky goes over here. We'll get to more of Becky, but let's just start with Lyra, man. Spots she missed. Spots were clunky. The zip tie comes off. She tries to put it back on. I think once it came off, she should have just left it off. She apologized to the photographer, which, by the way, the photographer that got in the way of this match, you got to know your space, man. That's just me being a photographer and being anal about this. In the way of the match, in the way of the camera, in the way of TV. You can't be in the way of TV like that. But for Lyra to go and apologize to the cameraman mid-match. No, leave that guy be. It's his fault anyway. I'm just out, dude, on Lyra until I see more. It's very Motor City. It's very Jade. I'm not connected. She's fine, but I'm not invested.
Nah, and like you said, 25 minutes. That's how long this match went.
God.
And it was
God.
it had a cool concept. Like I love the toolbox being used. I love the idea of some of these stuff, like as a blow-off feud, I guess, like you said. But yeah, dude, Lyra just doesn't connect. Like it's another one. Like she's not smooth. She's not fluid. I mean, we chop her up on her promos, but like you said, match quality. You don't. It was once you start missing, it's hard to recover, and I think that's what happened here. And yeah, man. I mean, I would. It's hard to say I'm not sad, happy this is over because I am, but now I've got to see Lyra and Bailey. Like shit. Like what are you doing to us? Like, God.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We'll get over the match. It wasn't our favorite match, right? But let's
No.
talk about both of them on Monday Night Raw. Let's start with Lyra and then we'll get to Becky because the Becky stuff is interesting, obviously. Lyra and Bailey, it feels like they were done, and then they came back as a tag team, and then they reignited this thing because Bailey got involved in the match and ends up, I guess, technically costing Lyra the match, right?
Right.
And so, some way, somehow, shape, or form, we're getting Lyra and Bailey in some sort of program. That's very much evident from Monday Night Raw. Bailey has to do something different here, right, to like make this worthwhile. Like it can't just be, "Oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me." Like I think this has to be the start of a Bailey heel turn.
Yeah, and if it's not, like, well, somebody's who's healing this. If it's neither one of them, it's gonna suck. So
Actually, in thinking about it, I would almost argue maybe it should be Lyra. Maybe that would freshen her up. Maybe that would give us something different to be invested in with Lyra. So I take it back. Maybe it should be her that turns on Bailey because Bailey still has that face connection with the crowd built up. So if it is Lyra to kind of go off on Becky and turn, maybe that is kind of the best thing for her character. It can't be worse.
no, and that's back to back stinkers. Like this one sucked. It went way too long, and this is I don't know. Like it's either too short or it's too long. There wasn't a lot of happy medium in a lot of these matches, and that's what's the pacing of a 2-night event. I guess that's what we ran into with this one is some of these matches were overproduced or underproduced. So I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you said, Lyra Bailey, there's got to be a reason we're invested because the current storyline sucks.
Current storyline is not good. Becky Lynch, though, goddamn. In Fuego, Becky Lynch, my goodness. Man, didn't know the Nikki Bella feud was going to happen. When Nikki Bella first came out there, I was like, okay, let's just see where it goes, right? Because they did need to do something with her once the Liv Morgan thing fell through, and she's kind of been back and put into a spot where she needs to be in a high profile match. So she gets Becky. I would say it doesn't get much bigger than big time Bex there. So Becky, first off, which we should have touched on this before, but gets a brand new theme song, which I'm kind of digging as a part of her character now. I was okay with the theme song. But then we get this promo between Becky and Nikki. And Maddie, just think about it from this perspective. If Lyra would have won the blow-off feud, you don't get anything close to the promo that we got out of Becky and Nikki Bella. This is a situation where I'm assuming they talked about this promo beforehand, but it's one of Nikki's better promos, certainly since she's been back. And then Becky just absolutely torched her about John Cena.
Yeah, and that's life imitating art, and it's perfect. That's everybody knows it. Why not showcase this? If you want to do WWE Unreal and you want to do all these cool aspects of wrestling, like bring this into it because John Cena is relevant. We're trying to get Nikki Bella relevant. Like she's a celebrity legend, whatever you want to call. But if we're gonna have her feud with Becky, this is perfect. Like it's not gonna be her in-ring work that sells us. So there's got to be more substance.
First off, once Becky hit the first line, the crowd was invested. Then she quickly hits the second line, and the place loses its mind to the point that they got the pull out to like show the entire stadium, losing its
Yeah.
mind. So it wasn't just focused on them and catching a crowd member here and there. It was the entire audience. Like they pulled back to show how many like people got out of their seat when she hit that line, dude. So I agree with you completely that if you're going to have Unreal, if you're going to have all of these behind the scenes looks into all of these different things, utilize it. It's been utilized and put into the forefront of WWE for so long. It's made for some of the best programming. And now a feud where I would have been like, whatever happens, happens. I'm in. Give me Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch. I'm in. It's so personal. It's so good. I want to see it now.
When there's more you can attack, like there's Hulk Hogan, Becky Hogan. Like bring it all to relevancy and just that's how you make a promo and a program cook.
I think Becky and Seth are alike in a lot of ways, to Nikki Bella's point, but also in the ways that Seth Rollins has been very, very open, right, about how much he disliked CM Punk and didn't want him back in WWE. But he set all of that aside, and it's made for great programming. And I think that, Nikki has a way to tap into that, again, with the Becky Hogan stuff, with a lot of other things. And if they can tap into that realism and display it on WWE television, it's going to make for an electric feud.
That's what you need, man. You see it. I mean, I'm not trying to do parallels to CM Punk and, Seth Rollins or Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. But I mean,
right.
The proof's in the pudding, man. Like you don't have to like each other to make money. You just have to, put it out there.
Yeah, Becky Lynch is the best thing that's happened to this title. And I'm not just saying that because she says it or because, as she would say, Sports Illustrated says it. It's because she is absolutely the best thing that's happened to this title. So let's jump from one Intercontinental Championship match to the other. Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Oh, buddy. Oh, this is, if it wasn't for some other, this is a match that could have been the highlight of a lot of other PLEs. It just happened to be on with a bunch of other really great classic matches across this SummerSlam weekend, but it stacks up there for a lot of reasons. And most of it because of the way that Dom and AJ went about this, and in basically a throwback and a callback to Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle for so much of this match. You had Dom talking about the way that he kind of changed up some of Ray's gear for his look. And then obviously you see it here on the screen with us. AJ Styles in the classic Eddie Guerrero tights with the flames and everything else. The AJ Styles entrance of the weekend, dare I say, coming out in the low rider, with his Latino heat shirt, his son with the bleach blonde hair there riding with him. I mean, it was amazing, dude. It was fantastic.
Dude, this feud's like every time we watch these guys, they level up. Like they're meant to be in a feud. These are the kinds of moments you want to just keep going. And like you said, there was so much fluff on the card that like disappointed. And this was, believe it or not, 10 minutes. And it delivered on 10-minute match. And it delivered on so many different. And that's the thing. You could have put 10 more minutes. These guys are both good enough in the ring. They would have stole the show. You give these guys 20 minutes on top of all the mannerisms and characteristics and Eddie Guerrero, like you said, Dom, everything is the lowrider. Like it connected for both of us. And I think for the audience, loved every minute of it.
Absolutely shocked that it was 10 minutes. I did not know that. I was entertained the whole time. And to your point, I think they absolutely could have went 20 minutes. Now, This is one of, I think, only two places that we ended up because we were both wrong on the TLC match. So this is one of only two places we redeemed ourselves a little bit here on SummerSlam Sunday that we were incorrect, and Dom retains. I think this is part of the Triple H era, and I want to talk about this for just a second, where for as much as there are some of these shorter title reigns, sometimes when it's a new challenger, which AJ Styles is to the Intercontinental Championship, right? It's his first crack at Dom with the Intercontinental Championship. Whoever the challenger is doesn't always go over on that first challenge, and I kind of like that about the way that Triple H is handling things. I don't think it's the last time that we're going to see AJ and Dom. I think there's still a chance for AJ to capture the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, there's too much chemistry, too much. Everybody's enjoying. Like you said, this is really, they dragged out this story since 6 weeks ago, and we're still finally getting bits and pieces of it. And it's rejuvenated AJ Styles, and I think it protects Dom too. Really gets him in the ring working great, and it sets it up perfect with him retaining for that AAA card at the end of the month. Crazy, we have that, and we still have Clash of Paris at the end of the month. That's how wrestling's rolling right now.
A lot of content to be had, and to your point, I just Dom is so good, AJ is so good. This original match was supposed to take place, I think, in Saudi actually,
Yeah.
and it got pulled right before Saudi, and then they've been going about the injury angle there with Dom, and then we finally get it here at SummerSlam, which I think is bigger than what it would have been at the Saudi show. Did you have a particular favorite callback moment here in this match?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I loved everything. I liked the boot. The boot angle was a little slow, but that chair spot was magic because I did not expect him to put the chair over his head after he threw the chair to him and faked it. I was like, dude, it just levels up every time I see this shit.
Yeah, it was the chair spot for me. The boot spot was good to your point, but it was the chair shot for me that really, and you got all the Eddie chants throughout it. It just all the feels. Eddie would be so proud of that match, man. I absolutely love this match. All right, women's triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Rhea Ripley just cannot get over the hump here on Io Sky. Naomi retaining in this match. Maddie, Io and Rhea had an absolute classic to themselves going at Evolution before Naomi comes in and cashes in Money in the Bank. And then I would argue that all three of these women have another classic here in this triple threat. A lot of people are saying, well, it wasn't as good as Rhea and Io. And I would just argue, well, triple threats are rarely as good as one-on-ones to begin with. But I think Naomi held her own. She was showcased for a lot of the beginning of this match, really, really in control before it turned into a little bit more of Io and Rhea. But I thought all three of these women worked their ass off. Thought it was a very good triple threat match. Thought it was a great way to start out SummerSlam Sunday.
Yeah, this match, like, it has everything you want. And then to have Naomi come out with her dad playing the guitar, like, just something she'll never forget. Like, just a proud dad moment, Everything about these women, really, Io and Rhea, I don't think they can do any wrong at this point. We keep saying it. I mean, you even hear Triple H and other people say, like, the women are just on a different level than the men these days. And this shows you why, because even in triple threat matches, everybody wins. All three of them showcase themselves. There's cool spots. Every time I see Io more and more, I'm just like, dude, might be one of the greatest wrestlers I'm not going to say all time, but currently she's on that level. Like, she might be the number one wrestler in the world. And then, yeah, Naomi, character development, man. This was perfect for her.
Character is crushing. She was killing me on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, where they had the SummerSlam like pre-show or whatever, and she's got the Money in the Bank briefcase as her scooter or whatever, and she was backing it up, and she was backing up at a pace of like half a mile an hour to get back to the front of the stage. So her character, man, her character work is absolutely killing it right now. I'm so happy that she retained, and it wasn't just a blip on the radar there for Naomi. To your point, I didn't know that anyone would level up or get past Rhea Ripley in terms of, kind of being best in the company or best in the world as far as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Dude, Io is so crisp and so clean with everything in the ring that you have to say she's at least at that level. You can definitely make the argument that she is just straight up the best right now. Uh, she's so pinpoint with all of her aerials, and not even just that, but basically just everything she does. It's so fluid, it's so crisp, it's so clean. Io is one of one right now. Sticking with those two only because we already know what Naomi's next challenge is, and it's Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris. So we already know the
Velcro.
yes, exactly. Stephanie Velcro, as Naomi has deemed her. But we know the destination for Naomi. What's the destination for Io and Rhea? I know that Rhea kind of said on Monday Night Raw that she's angling for a one-on-one championship match. They're still throwing out the line, that she has never that Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io. So there's something there, but I don't think you need to revisit that immediately. But at the same time, I don't know what's next for either of them.
Well, it's weird too because SummerSlam used to be like kind of the feud ender or start new feuds. It's kind of that point in programming. I don't know. I know we had, Io spotted with damage control on Raw and all that. So I think Rhea is really the one, like Naomi. Who does she freshen it up and she gets Stephanie Vaquer? So where does that leave? God, like this is where I would have loved to seen, like, I know we're getting Nikki Bella, but Io Sky and like Becky Lynch, dude, or something like that. Just to me would have hit hard.
Yeah, I think Rhea is truly, for the first time in a long time, a little bit in no man's land. Could
Yeah.
almost be, I would say, almost benefit from a little bit of an absence, but she had kind of an extended absence, not too long ago. So maybe it isn't quite the right time for that. But I truly don't know what our next challenge is, so I'm interested from that standpoint. All right, let's move on to the main event because there's so much to break down. There's just so much to break down about this match, about the ending of the actual PLE. But we got to talk about what we kind of talked about at the beginning of the show, and that was Friday Night SmackDown, where I did not expect. You could have given me a million guesses, and there's no way I would have said that Cena makes his return as a face on Friday Night SmackDown. I was blown away that that was the angle that they took. I like the reasoning that Cena gave, and I thought because they did that in that way, you went into Sunday with the question of, does Cena turn again? Does Cody turn again? Do we get the face finish that we ended up actually getting? It just created so much more intrigue, and I think it made us care about this match. Like, you were kind of on edge right throughout
Yeah.
the entire match.
Yeah. Had no idea how to really take all this in. And then you don't know what's real and what's not, which is great. The element of surprise and to know if you're getting worked or whatnot, like it just makes for a better product. And I think,
Sorry, I lost you in the last little bit. Can you hit?
yeah, just the face turn, everything about
Mm,
it. Like I think it's invested us all, and it's almost like a disappointment of we we were we were at the mountaintop of the heel turn of what had happened.
yep.
And then we were so invested in that, and then just to not have a payoff of any sort, I think, now I'm just kind of disappointed. I'm a little hurt that, and I hate to throw blame at The Rock, but he's the
But
one who's kind of, went MIA, and I think that crushed just the direction of this thing. So I am glad they decided to retrack because it did save night 2. And I think it really helped promote the storylines moving forward.
So I wrote about this specifically over at ringsideintel.com. And if you happen to catch show number 1, then here on show number 2, you already know that Maddie and I are going to be dropping some written content as well as some video content over at ringsideintel.com. So that's my first article, actually, is a bit about what we're going to talk about. I won't give everything away in the article, but we'll talk about a good chunk of it here. in the pod, because obviously people are tuned in with us, and I'm not just going to say go to ringsideintel.com to get that, but also go give it a read, because there is a little bit more depth to Cena, his heel turn, and kind of what it's going to mean for this babyface run. But Manny, let's talk about the match as well. I sent out a tweet from our account that Cena is going to go down as Mr. SummerSlam. And I don't mean that in any way as a slight. I mean that as like the highest regarded compliment. Like, I think he's really going to be known for a significant kind of Mr. October or whatever it is, in baseball. Like, he just has all of these legendary SummerSlam matches. He's got one with Daniel Bryan. He's got one with Brock Lesnar. He's got one with AJ Styles. And now he's got this one with Cody Rhodes. And man, candidate for match of the year. I mean, I was skeptical, and I never thought I was going to say that in the middle of this John Cena retirement tour, because it just, to me, in terms of the retirement tour, it's blown everything else out of the water.
Yeah, you just saw a different John Cena, man. And I think it was maybe him being more comfortable in his skin, his moveset. Like, we got a guy who's 50, I think. Cena's not a spring chicken, but he did things that we haven't seen him ever do. Or maybe, the Canadian Destroyer outside, there were so many planted steps throughout this match that kept you invested. And just the old John Cena, I think we were all ready to see him turn. And I think this was just that perfect storm.
I agree that he was way more comfortable. And I also agree that he was at kind of the mountaintop. We were seeing the best of the heel run, but when you got that face turn, and then you got the music there on Sunday, and he comes out in all the bright color gear, and you get the bright color Tron, all of that sort of stuff, he's back. You can see it in his face as he's getting the introduction. I'm still glad that they kept the Never Seen 17 and the Last Real Champion. Like, he was still smiling through all of that. So I got a lot of those good John Cena feels. And then you get the embrace and all of that sort of stuff throughout the match. Maddie, we've talked about several times that we're not the biggest proponents of 1,000 finishers in a match, which this one had. This one had so many finishers. I didn't keep count. I should go back and count. It has to be upwards of 15. Like, legitimately, it has to be upwards of like 15 finishers in this match. For some reason, it worked. I can't tell you why. I don't think it should be repeated. I don't think it should happen all the time. But from the moment of this match that they started giving false finishes, dude, the crowd was just in the palm of their hand for the rest of the way.
Dude, and it was just, and it didn't, I mean, it felt like a lot of finishes, but like you said, they did it in a way that kept you invested. And I was really worried about the street fight, label. We've kind of ran into this situation with a street fight, a DQ, all these different stipulations somewhat get confusing because they're all the same thing. But the table spots, Slim Jim, they got their money's worth at SummerSlam. Was there like 10 table spots? It felt like it was just every other match.
Between this match and TLC, yeah.
Jesus Christ. But no, dude, I think it was different. And I think that's kind of like the TLC match. You've got to innovate, and you've got to have the spots and not have it so choreographed like it's embarrassing. And I think that's where these two guys, like, you even see the rope spot right there, like in the top right. Like, everything was done perfect. John Cena taking a backdrop onto a steel barricade.
The barricade, yeah.
Yeah, so many spots that were authentic. And that's what stuck to me. It's just everything about this match was real. It was original,
Which brings me to maybe my second favorite spot of the match itself, which is where they go underneath the stage and then come up on the Cody elevator. Like, just the shot waiting for them to come up, and the way the light hit Cena. Oh man, there was something about it that you knew he was just like he had hit that Super Cena switch in that moment. Like, he was laser focused. It really felt like he just turned back time there. He yeets Cody like halfway, what felt like halfway down the ramp, man. With that attitude adjustment, man, it was just such a cool moment.
Yeah, I think we're gonna look back at like this match in particular has something special. Like
Yeah.
something I don't like you said, maybe it was the emotion, maybe it was seeing the heel Cena and seeing just kind of his style where he's all facials. It wasn't the same. And to see what was pulled out in this match and just see John Cena like almost overcome everything to try and win this match. It was like I said, man, I think it's perfect. One of the better matches I've seen out of Cena ever.
And you get the crowd actually chanting Super Cena, but like in a
Yeah.
positive light. Again, I went into a little bit more in depth than that. You can check it out ringsideintel.com for that article. But then we get the finish of the match itself, Maddie, which I thought was very well done from just a visual point of view, right? So Cody counters whatever it is. Cena is slow to get up. The camera cuts over to Cody, gives him the salute, hits the crossroads, and gets the
Oh,
win. So we end up getting a finish that you and I talked about is like, this is a possible outcome that they do it in such a way. Now, we didn't know, obviously, because we recorded on Tuesday the way that we do each week. We didn't know that Friday that we were getting the Cena face turn. We thought we were going to possibly get it within the match itself, like maybe at the ending of the match that Cena just recognizes, kind of what's happened in his kind of his place and all that sort of thing. But we get it on Friday, so we through all that get the face finish. And I think Cody played it perfectly. I think WWE plays it perfectly. And like, Cody gives Cena the ring, to stand in there and soak in the spotlight. And I've said this a million times, but WWE is incredible at making, and they just did it on fucking Saturday at making you think that the PLE is over, and it's not.
well, and this was like the perfect passing of the torch.
Oh, it
Like
was. Oh, yes.
we've said it's Cena, and then it's we've had these thoughts. Maybe it's Reigns, maybe it's these other guys, but this Cody Rhodes face run, like to me, it's organic, it's special, and I think it's real, and that's what I love about it. And now we get Cena, we get to see him out the last 3 or so months the right way. Like we've seen what we can, it's just all of it came together perfectly for what started off as really intriguing, turned kind of into a pit, and now it's like we're back on track. And like you said, that wasn't even the end of the match. That wasn't the end of the show.
I think what you said about Becky and Nikki being real translates here. It's John being real, and that's why you're connecting to John. Is Cody being real throughout the entire process, right? Whether it's the Dusty promo that comes on before his
Oh,
entrance, which boy, just
forgot all about
chills.
that. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
just
Yeah.
chills when that hits, and just elevates his entire entrance all the way to the end where him and Cena embraced, and you see, I mean, Cody is just so welled up with tears, and I know that we see that a lot from Cody, but he's just wearing his heart on his sleeve, and you just feel like he's so authentic every time that he talks, and that's really what has endeared me to Cody more than anything else. But yeah, we got to talk about the end of the PLE. My God, Maddie. Not what I thought was coming, man. In no world did I expect to hear the wow, wow, like just Brock's music hits. And when you said earlier that this was an open door stadium and sometimes you don't always get the sound,
Right.
I cannot fathom if this would have been inside a dome. It's one of the loudest reactions that I've ever heard in my life. Brock Lesnar appears at the top of the ramp. Michael Cole apparently didn't know about it. Wade Barrett apparently didn't know about it. You get those organic reactions on commentary. Brock looks like the monster that he is. Comes in there, lays waste to Cena, and everybody is left just absolutely stunned.
When we started off, like you said, you piggyback to the announce team. What's their job? And organically, what Cole said was holy shit. And it was
Yeah.
what everybody was thinking. And it was like sometimes that goes lockstep in what you're seeing. And that's where WWE just over delivers. And that's where everything about this was WWE keeping it under wraps, think what you want about Brock Lesnar. We're not the legal department. You're not the legal
No.
department. Everybody has their own, but what you do in the ring and the reaction you get right there tells you everything you need to know about the WWE and why they are who they are.
Yeah, I mean, Brock just looks like an insane monster. Just an
Perfect.
insane monster
Perfect.
as he ever has. And you have Cena that just went out and put on arguably match of the weekend, 5-star match, if you will, with the face of WWE, passing the torch to Cody Rhodes. He's in there, he's soaking it in. It's this beautiful moment, a part of his retirement tour, only to be spoiled and only for him to now have to stare down Brock Lesnar, who is one of his biggest foes throughout his entire career. And, you know, starting with just that alone, I think this tells us about the end of John Cena's retirement tour. I think we're just getting the hits, Maddie, and I'm kind of okay with it. We've gotten Randy Orton, we've gotten CM Punk, we've got Cody Rhodes. I don't foresee it being a trilogy there with Cody Rhodes. I think this is kind of it for them. Obviously, you had the Ron Killings match, but I don't think we're getting like the outside wonky Joe Hendrys. I don't think we're getting an NXT match. I think we're just getting the hits, and that's completely okay for John Cena's run here.
Yeah, and we've seen him put over Austin Theory. We've seen him put over for younger talent before, and there's a time and a place. But I think we're past that. I think we're now just soaking it in. Like you said, it's the last time is now. So whatever he's doing, it's not about who he's fighting; it's about what he's doing. And I think that's what makes it that much more special. But yeah, Lesnar back, baby. Oh my God. This had to be the best kept secret. You saw Daniel Cormier, the UFC fighter, talking his talk. Like, I love that everybody can be wrong now. Like, that's there is no spoilers. You can't take any of it more than a grain of salt now, and that makes wrestling that much better.
Brock Lesnar represents chaos and unpredictability, which is, I think, exactly kind of what the WWE has going for it. Now, let's touch on Brock for just a second because we're talking about the end of John's retirement tour. But Brock has been gone for so long that he kind of has a new batch of opponents that he can really, take advantage of if he's truly back. And maybe he's just back for John Cena. That's absolutely positive. Brock isn't a spring chicken either. So he could just be back as a part of this retirement tour, but he has a Gunther. He has a Braun Breaker. He has all of these other people that he hasn't had the opportunity to work with. It's a chance to see Brock in some fresh matchups and a chance for Brock to eventually put over some of this younger talent as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we're at a good place storyline wise for a guy. You're going to get what you get every 2 months, a Raw every month. You're going to get parts, but there's a lot of opportunity here, whether it is a Braun Breaker or a Jey Uso or these different talent, whether heel, face. Like, there's not a lot of people like Brock Lesnar, just the intensity and just the believability of just what he is. And he's an ass kicker. He said it. Like, he plays that part to a T.
Whew. All right. I think we've got there. But I will ask, you got anything to wrap up SummerSlam weekend?
Yeah. My strongest takeaway, I think this might go down in history. Obviously, this is the first 2-night SummerSlam?
It is. Yep.
I think I'd put these two main events up against almost any SummerSlam main event ever.
Sure.
I think I might even, like you said, match of the year. I think these two main events might be better than anything we've seen in the last year time frame.
You can talk me into either one. I mean, that's just where I'm at. Like, I can't nitpick. They're so different. You know what I mean? Obviously, they both have the surprise endings, if you will, that aren't technically the match, but are kind of. It's the way that John Cena and Daniel Bryan kind of happened way back when, and then Randy Orton comes back to take away the moment for Daniel Bryan. They're both kind of in that same vein, and they're so different as the match type itself. You could talk me into either one of them being match of the year. I'm so curious now to see who John's last opponent's going to be, who Brock's next opponent's going to be. Like, WWE did a great job in terms of the ending of this PLE. Do you think, Maddie, night 2 over night 1 overall?
Yes. It's tough. Yeah, just a TLC match, Dom and AJ, and this. Yeah, you got to put it over.
Yeah, it's night 2 for me. It's pretty cut and dry. Night 2 is a little bit better than night 1. I'll leave you with this. Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar. Ran a poll on Twitter. I was surprised to see how close it was. Who had the bigger surprise? Who had the bigger impact? It was about 55-45 in favor of Seth Rollins over on Twitter, which you can find us at Wrestle Matts. What do you think, though, Maddie? Bigger impact, bigger surprise, Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar?
I mean, dude, I'd say Rollins, just off the injury spot and the way he played it, where even before he we knew we were going to get Lesnar back eventually. Like, it's going to happen. Did I see it at SummerSlam? No. But for Seth Rollins to play the injury angle, something we've never seen to that T, and then for him even to point at the briefcase and point at his knee, and then, like you said, he walks back. Like, he's like teasing us. And then the way through the crutches, to me, that's right up there with the Cena heel turn as moment of the year.
I'll split the difference. I'll cop out a little bit here. I'll say that Lesnar himself was the bigger surprise, and I'll say that Seth Rollins was the bigger impact because he's just going to have the more. He's going to be the face of the programming more than Brock is, and that's just the way. I mean, Brock's not all of a sudden taking up a full-time schedule. You know what I mean? So Seth Rollins, bigger impact. Brock Lesnar, biggest surprise. Hell of a weekend overall. That's going to wrap it up for us. You can find us each and every Tuesday night. Facebook, YouTube, X, going to be streaming live at Wrestle Matts across the board on any sort of social media platform that you can think of. If you type in Wrestle Matts and we're there, you can follow us there, interact with us for more shorts and other content. RingsideIntel.com. You can check out some more of our content there as well. He's Matty Reiser. I'm Matt Kelly. We will see you guys next week.